wanted to feel cared for all the time. In that moment, and in moments as your partner for a long time, and then know your wife, what I wanted to feel in the moment was cared for and
Yeah.
protected. I absolutely did not feel like that.
Yeah.
Especially
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Open Therapy. In today's episode, I want to explore the concept of love languages and how important it is to know your non negotiables when you're entering into a relationship with somebody. It's important to kind of know what are your deal breakers or what are your non negotiables, and also the concept of feeling seen in a relationship. I'd love to kind of discuss how that can bring comfort as well as how it can bring anxiety. So yeah, if you're on this journey of trying to show up better in the relationship that you're in right now, or if you're on the journey like me of choosing better in the future, keep watching. Did I feel seen in my relationship? This last one. I didn't feel seen. And I think in my reflection, I've been trying to figure out if that's like a me thing, if our needs were just different, maybe everybody doesn't need to feel seen. I don't know. But yeah, there's just so much he didn't know about me. And I think what the worst part was, there was so much that I felt like he didn't care to know about me. He was just like, well, yeah, you still feel good now, but that's good. And I'm like, well, you don't know me though, Like poetry was such a huge part of my life at one time. He has never heard me perform. He's never written or seen anything that I've written or inquired about it. I brought it up and kind of discussed it slightly. And I think there was a video clip of like a part that I started showing him and realized, oh, he doesn't. I don't know. I think I just stopped midway because I just felt like it was not being taken seriously. And if you know me as a poet, most of my pieces are serious and heartfelt. So kind of understanding that part of me, I think is important to understanding me. I don't perform much anymore. I don't write as much as I used to, but I still feel called to that. That's still a huge part of me. Yeah. So that part wasn't seen at all. And just so many other things, It just felt really unsafe and a little bit too vulnerable for me. And this was somebody I was in a relationship with. So I didn't feel emotionally safe to completely be myself. And I didn't really feel like this person was interested in learning who I was. My mom passed away last June. When we met shortly after she passed away. He's never asked me about my mom. And I guess that would shout to people like, wow, red flag, wait, so why did they do my again? I don't think I really wanted to speak about it at all. So even though it was a red flag, I think I just kind of moved along with it. But after months and months passed, I'm like, oh, so I'm really, wow. Just, so you're not gonna ask about her, you're not gonna ask how she died, you're not gonna ask how I'm doing with the loss of my mother. Huh. I guess I need someone who's interested in my well-being, in my mental state, who's interested in who I am. And these are just examples of not feeling emotionally safe, not feeling truly seen, or really of interest and not cared for. Besties, time to meet a good friend of mine, Jan. I call her Jana. Her real name is Janelle slash Jan or Jana. And I just wanted her perspective on feeling seen in relationships because she's been in some long-term relationships since I've known her. We've known each other since high school. She also has a perspective of being married, no longer married, now in a healthy relationship. Hi, Jan.
Hi, friend.
All right. So I reached out to you maybe a month ago when I was starting this thing. You're one of the first people I wanted to have a conversation with because I've known you for so long, Jana. And we talk about lots of stuff. And we've also seen each other in pretty
Oh God.
serious relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. And seeing each other kind of go through changes, because,
Hmm.
well, so the audience knows I've known Jan since high school. So
Hmm.
we've kind of seen each other grow up and have different types of relationships and commitments. So I thought this would be a good person to kind of have a chit chat with. Today, I want to talk about the concept of feeling seen in relationships and, whether well, we should probably start by saying you are in a relationship, a committed relationship right now.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
It's been I think it's been 7 years.
Oh my
It's been.
goodness.
I know.
That's crazy.
About 2017, 2018 thereabout. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it still
Yeah.
feels new to me. I don't know why Naomi's album was what, 6?
But I didn't realize it's been so long either.
Yeah, that's crazy. Right. So you're in a committed, healthy relationship right now. I don't know if you mind me saying that you've been married previously, which was also a
Yeah.
long-term relationship for you.
Yeah.
So a lot of
8 years together, 2 years married.
right. Yeah. So 8 years together, 2 years married, and then you're knowing this
Mm.
one for 7. Right.
Yeah.
So you kind of have the perspective of two different types of long-term relationships, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you know what your love languages are? So in terms of love languages, I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Gary Chapman's theory of love languages, that there are 5 of them. I believe the 5 of them are quality time, acts of service, physical touch, receiving gifts or giving gifts, gift giving, or is it just gifts? I don't remember. And then words of affirmation. Oh my goodness. The order in which I just remembered them should give you an idea of the order in which I find them relevant.
It has changed. So before I had Naomi, because becoming a mommy is a whole different ballgame. So before I had Naomi, I'd say my love language was quality time. Since I've had her, because burden I carry is a hell of a thing as a mommy. It's like a mix of acts of service and quality time, because I mean quality time becomes even more important after you have a kid. And then because the burden of care, no matter how you set it, turn it, twist it, it's mommy. So once that comes around now, I feel like acts of service comes into play because I need that break every now and again. Maybe every day, but the break is needed.
For sure.
And
So why I find this concept and this theory fascinating is because we tend to love people in the way that we want to be loved. And a lot of times you find that there's issues with translation there. So how somebody receives that love is not always going to be how you intend it to be received. If your love language is giving gifts and you keep buying these things, And my love language, I think giving gifts is probably really low on mine. On top for me is quality time and acts of service. In my later years, like in the last maybe 5 years or so, acts of service went to the top, and then right underneath is quality time, for sure. Which my friend was also saying in our conversation, where hers changed as well when she became a parent, which I find interesting because I'm wondering if that had something to do with just kind of doing this parenting thing on my own. Acts of service is huge today, for sure. Make my life easier, and I will feel loved.
Talk about attachment style though, in terms of relationship. My therapist then, because there's a whole quiz that I took, and I had both avoidant and anxious attachments,
I think I might be
which
the
she
same, Jana, which is
the
weird.
yes, because I'm either hot or cold. I'm either extremely attached or not at all. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite
that's also something, a layer that goes into this too, for sure.
yep,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yep.
I think I need to probably redo my attachment thing, but I know I'm avoidant for sure. But I think I'm the same sort of thing, whereas
I,
avoidant anxious. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, right. So, okay, so those are your love languages. So I'm guessing that's how you feel most loved from your partner right now. If he's helping you, acts of service, and also with spending time together. You would
yeah,
say?
man. It's been a tricky battle because I mean I've been in a relationship where, in my mind, from my perspective, this is prior to my current relationship. I don't know if I was seen. I think I was more of an I was in the space of emotional repair. You know when you're familiar with something and then you can't understand how somebody has grown up without this, and so you're trying to provide and expose that person to it. I feel like that's what it was. And then now to be in this relationship where, to be honest, we're still both learning because there are times when we're out of sync, where we can be completely out of sync sometimes, and especially when Naomi came into the picture, we both became two different people. So at first you were, oh, I love you, like we're so in love, how could we not be together? And then Naomi comes in and life changes. Life changes for me as a mom, life changes for him as a dad doing it a second time, and just trying to understand how to show for each other in this new space. And so it's always a coming together to figure out, all right, why are we not in sync? And it's not, I say it in a cute way, but it's not always cute. It can be extremely chaotic. It
Hmm.
can be, but I think the difference for sure, no, is that despite how chaotic it can be, we try at the end of whatever conversation we have, whatever disagreement we have, whether we say it out loud or not, we try to um, meet each other where we're at. So we try to do some degree of adjustment to see, all right, is this what you need without changing ourselves then?
Right.
So
Yeah.
different for me. That is
Yeah.
very new.
But
I
that's
mean, even
good.
in it's still a work in progress, but we do this. We do this.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah. That's good, John. So
yeah, man.
based on how long you've known your partner, what do you think makes him feel most loved in your relationship right now?
Definitely quality time and touch because he's very touchy feely, physical. I mean, we both have quality time in common. So
Okay.
my quality time look like both me just kind of leaning on you maybe, or we can just be sitting and watching TV together in the same room together, have a conversation, but I don't always talk a lot either. So there is that. But then his can be definitely touching and holding and hugging all the time, kissing all the time, and but I I think I've started giving more in that regard.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a continuous give,
Work in
and
progress, yeah. But at least you have knowledge of it that that's,
oh
something
yeah,
he needs and what he wants. And so you give it
yeah.
that regard. All right, cool. All right. So I'd love to hear like how you compare. Well, you kind of touched on it a little, like your past relationship or your marriage with this one in terms of feeling seen. Do you feel like your love languages, your languages changed a little since you became a mom in this relationship? So in the last relationship, it was mostly just quality time. Was his also quality time? Were you guys in sync? Did you guys both know of love languages of each other?
I don't. Did we? To be honest, and this is the thing about being seen. You also have to be clear in communicating exactly what you want, right?
Yeah.
So you can't ask somebody to see you if you don't ask clearly for what you want.
All right.
And I also not in a relationship because expecting somebody to read your mind is kind of ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. So you have to be clear in what you want. I don't think I expressed that a lot in my last relationship. Um, but I think a lot of it was quality time as well as acts of service. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I thought a lot about myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you feel a shift now?
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So in terms of your strengths and weaknesses right now, what do you think your strengths are as a partner? And what do you think your weaknesses are?
I guess start with my weaknesses because I try to better them. Um, Weakness is, and this I've worked on a lot, is communicating because I'm avoidant. So something will happen and I'll either shut down or stay quiet. And I don't know if my expectation in the moment is for him to come and ask, well, what is wrong and how can I fix it? As opposed to me saying, well, you did this and it really hurts. Um, and it wasn't a good feeling for me. I don't like it.
Hmm.
I do tend to, and I don't do it as much anymore, but it's still something I have to work on. I shut down and I not talk. It does take a lot out of your partner to kind of try to figure out, okay, what is it? So I try to be fair in that regard, but it's still something I have to work on because, as I said, I'm hot or cold, really hot or cold. It's even
Okay.
chaotic. So that's one thing. That's one weakness I have. What else would I say? I think that's a major one. I don't always say what's wrong. Um, but I know come around to have the conversation as opposed to sweeping it under the rug, which is really what I did before.
Yeah. Okay. And you're
My
aware. You're aware of it as a weakness, which is good.
I'm very aware of that one because especially if I realize that the conversation is getting louder because I can't stand shouting, low talk. I can't, I can't
So shut
manage it.
down. Okay.
Begin to escalate, I begin to shut down, and I can shut down for days and days and days. But it's been better. I don't think I go more than a day now. Yeah, but I could at least for a week. Trust and believe.
Yeah.
But I don't think I know. Also, it makes life easier, man. Like you can't sit with this thing for so long, and it really does take up a lot of energy. So it's either we're dealing with it or we're not. And the thing with me is that I also tend to so this is what it is. And pack up my things and let's go like quickly.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is done. All right, come, let's go. All right, make we split. Um, and to be honest, this partner has really shown up in a way that says that not every disagreement means we're gonna break up.
Right. Something I
Just
also had to learn.
and go.
Yeah.
I love to joke and say I'm an expert at leaving. I cannot.
So
But yeah,
funny. I've told
so,
somebody that I'm an expert at saying goodbye now. Yeah, man. I know how to
yeah,
wrap things up really nicely with a bow and depart. And
yeah,
my experiences, I'm an expert.
it's true.
Well, it seems that we're not going to get any further. It seems like I have a whole spiel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what are your strengths? You've said your weaknesses. What are your strengths?
My strength. Um, I honor my word. If I tell you I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. If this is something that you need, I'm going to try to get it for you and just show up for you in any way possible. So, is it a strength if I do it to my own compromise? But I really do take pride in showing up. Um, in every relationship, really, I do try to show up as much as possible.
That must be why we're friends. I feel like that's my strength in our relationship as a partner too. I do honor
Oh,
my word. I'm dependable.
right? You
Yeah,
do show.
yeah.
Yeah.
I try to. All right. And so, do you feel like how you see yourself? Do you feel like that's how your partner sees you? Would he agree that this is your strength and this is your weakness? Are you guys on the same
Yeah.
level? Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. A
Yeah.
good deal maker for me, feeling that you know me in a genuine way and that I'm accepted. That's something that I need. Does it So in this relationship now, Jan,
Mhm.
do you feel seen in a general way? Do you feel like he could explain who you are? Do you feel like if someone is having some trouble understanding what you need, he could step in front of you and explain what you need? Do you feel seen in a general way?
Yeah, I do feel seen in a general way. I feel like he's at maybe I'd give it about a 85% no.
Okay.
Um, because also the John he knew before, motherhood is different from this current John. So there is that, and it's a continuous work in progress. So there is that because, and I'll tell you one scenario from my previous relationship. We went out to eat. We went out to eat. It was his family visit, and so his parents were there. We went out for dinner. For dinner, his parents were there, and then the couple who's related to him, they were there as well. We all went out to eat. We're having a good time. I was in my late 20s at the time, maybe about 27. We were both working. Let me give all that context. Both working. I'm trying to remember if I was in school still, maybe. But we're both working, and then the bill for the dinner came. Best believe, gentleman paid the bill for everybody except me. I had to pay for my own. Yeah, I know I've never told you that story.
No.
No, it was ever a moment of just being unseen. And the thing is, I get hyper independent. Once I feel insecure in any sort of way, I become hyper independent. And so I was just like, all right. And from there on, I just always paid half of everything. Everything. Anywhere we went. And I remember once he said to me, oh, you're a very, oh my gosh, what was the word he used? It wasn't an independent. It was a term to say that I'm fair in spending. Because whenever we go out, if he pays this time, I would pay the next time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to feel cared for, all the time. In that moment, and in moments as your partner for a long time, and then know your wife. What I wanted to feel in the moment was cared for and
Yeah.
protected. I absolutely did not feel like that,
Yeah.
especially in the situation. And no, with
Everyone
this
else was
current,
scared for her at
yeah,
that time except you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, everybody else was cared for. So the partner I have now is very, very caring for everybody. But also for me, um, I never have to question whether or not he'll have my back with anything at all. Anything at all. And I remember even recently he said to me, why do you find it difficult? Because if I don't have cash in my purse, I'll just be like, all right, when I get to work, I'll just swing by the ATM. And he stopped one morning and he's just like, why is it difficult for you to say I have no cash in my purse? Can I have? And it's like, after 7 years, I really still can't even do that. So it's I also, being seen for me is also feeling protected.
Yeah.
And so even in an economic way, it's a major deal, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask if being seen gives you comfort or anxiety. It sounds like it gives you comfort, but you can't confirm. That's what I'm getting from you. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's in that scenario that I shared, it happened so long ago too, but it really just sits on me as one of the most I've never felt so exposed in my life. Never ever felt so exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just sitting there and having everybody else being taken care of by somebody who should be taking care of you. Not that they should care for everybody else around you. I mean, yes, they should, but why should your life partner be exposed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So comfort for sure. So you've heard me speak about what not feeling seen felt like, how emotionally unsafe, and how big acceptance is for me, and it kind of shows if someone's interested in your well-being and who you are. So theoretically, this gives me comfort, but I'm about to share a piece I wrote when I was in the trenches of dating in my 20s. This was before I had my daughter. And kind of just shows like a different side of feeling seen, the anxiety that can come with being seen by another human being, especially when you're at the stage of falling in love with them and really wanting to be in relation for a long term and be together. Especially when you're at that stage, the anxiety that can come. I've felt that anxiety for sure, for sure. And I still feel it, at 38 if I'm in a new relationship. Because if you put everything out, and people see it and you're seen, people can still get up and walk away and say no thank you. So there is, I guess that's fear of rejection. There's fear of being abandoned, having been so vulnerable and being so open. It's all wrapped up into one, I guess. But this is just kind of an example of the anxiety that can come from being seen as well. I never really moved on from him before getting off on him, and now I'm stuck trying to move on from them all at once. Still broken, still healing, still searching for balance. I'm not loving you the way that I want to, and I hate it. Can I even love you the way that I want to yet? In this state of transition. Yet I stand before you naked, risking you pointing and scoffing at my imperfections of emotional corruption, of self-doubt debilitating function, of not knowing how to give what I haven't gotten, of paranoia of being held captive in your expectation prison, of being too afraid to ask for what I need, of being too afraid that submissive equates to being bullied, of trying not to act a fool, always translating as cold, disconnected, and cruel, of relying too heavily on poetry for expression, not articulating mistaken for selfish discretion. I'm not loving you the way that I want to, and I hate it. Can I even love you the way that I want to yet? In this state of transition, this state of loving, guided by my fears of 30 years from now being alone, of having no choice but to get through life struggles on my own, of not being able to succeed at love, of the one I want telling me I'm unworthy of not being able to be a mother, of not being able to have your children one after the other, of somehow ending up with my baby's half sister or brother because we never made it to forever. I'm not loving you the way that I want to, and I hate it. Can I even love you the way that I want to yet in this state of transition? Listen, I'm sick of what has been fickle passion. I'm sick of falling in and out of hot air balloons. I'm sick of puffed chest jumping, heart and eyes open, fingers crossed and hoping, of coming up on red lights, having to ignore yellow ones and still on the way down, green lights scoping. I'm sick of wondering why it was not okay for that one to love me, of failing this bliss. Damn it, I'm sick of hit and miss first kisses. Give me some time to take care of all of this. The dismisses. I'm not loving you the way that I want to, and I hate it. Can I even love you the way that I want to yet in this state of transition? You deserve her. The woman I see in my head that I want to be, she is nowhere near as needy because she is not lacking knowledge of self-worth and adequacy. She's at peace, living and loving everything entirely, no longer seeking happiness from anyone but herself, balance, inner and outer stance, steady. She knows what she wants and who she is, and she's ready. I'm not loving you the way that I want to, and I hate it. I know I can't love you the way that I want to yet in this state of transition. After seeing me completely naked, after seeing all the contents of my baggage, when I become this woman you deserve, will you still be here? Would you have found the courage so I can finally just love you the way that I want to? Damn it. For sure. Okay. So, well, it's been 7 years in this relationship now. How do you think your seeing of this partner has changed over time? Do you think it's like a steady, upward linear line, or do you think it's more of like a climb hanging off a cliff, or do you think it's like more wave like,
I
in
say
terms
it's
of when you
more.
guys are in sync and when you feel like you're seeing each other? Yeah.
I feel it's a wave because there are moments where we understand each other, and then um, because I can't see things in absolutes, right? So there are times I have to break that mental thought. He won't always be great. He won't always be able to be present. And then, so it's just learning that sometimes it won't always be okay. And learning that I also need to show up for times where I may perceive his strengths. It may not always be constant. And when he can't be that degree of strength that I'm used to, I may have to show up in that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it has its moments. I think it's more of a way of
More of a,
understanding and seeing each other.
yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Jenna.